I go where the weirdness takes me, and today it said we're making a spindle, so we're doing it. Hey gang, welcome to the next installment of the Zombie Apocalypse Chronicles. Today, we're assuming that we found a relatively safe place, and we are going to attempt to make a Scottish spindle. I have a chunk of my lilac tree that I cut off. I had that big branch. I still don't have a handsaw or a hatchet. So, zombie apocalypse survival checklist, hatchet, or a handsaw. Also, knives. So, scavenge those fast. You need them. So, what I've been doing is I'm just peeling off the bark from this chunk that I actually cut on my radial arm saw. I cheated, but I'm still not going to go buy a hatchet yet. I imagine I'll have to get one before I'm done with this series, but for now, no hatchet. I cut it with a radial arm saw. So, as you can see, as I'm peeling off this bark, that we have like the rough outer bark, then we have like the sappy inner bark before we get down to just the wood. So I'm just peeling this off now, and then what we're going to have to do is whittle this down. So basically a Scottish spindle has a large base on it, and then it tapers up to a point. So there's going to be a ton of whittling to do on this. But I'm determined to do it. So I'm going to get back to peeling and whittling and trying to make a Scottish spindle. I will look up the name again. I can never say it. It's Dealgan. But I believe it's pronounced a jail again. Not positive on that, but it does have a fancy name that I can't say despite being of Scottish descent. I don't know. I just never learned. So I'm going to adjust the camera so you can watch me whittle away at this. I'll just put it on time lapse because really I'm not going to be saying anything interesting. It'll probably just be a whole lot of curse words as I try to work with this. Now, if I had a hatchet, I could chip away at the outside of this to make the whittling part a little easier, but I don't have a hatchet yet. I may end up going and buying one today if this doesn't go well, but we'll see what happens. Hang tight. I'm going to shift the camera. All right, so I've done maybe 5 minutes of whittling, and I can already tell I'm going to need a better process. So I think I'm going to go check in my basement and see if maybe I have a small handsaw that we could use to just trim off some of this outer wool, or maybe wood chisel, something that's going to make this go faster, because otherwise I'm going to die of old age before I can make this. So we're learning, but you can see it is starting to whittle down at this end. This end I'm going to keep that size because you need weight for a Scottish spindle. So I'm going to go look for tools. I'll be back. All right, so in my basement I found a wood chisel. I am going to get a hatchet eventually though. And I brought an actual hammer, so I'm not using rock today. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark around the top where I want my narrower bit to be. I think it's pretty obvious I'm not a woodworker, but I'll fake it. Fake it till you make it. Okay, I'm going to turn this around because it seems to be peeling here. See? And I want it to peel the other way. So the wedge goes like that. I'm going to put it towards the bottom end of the spindle and hammer. I'm sure my neighbors must be wondering, what the hell is she up to this time? Oof, got it deep that time. Okay, now I'm gonna kind of brace it like that. I'm gonna go this way. And we'll try going from the other side. Because we made this ring here, it should only go that far if we work from this side. In theory. Okay. We'll just continue working our way around. Ooh, that's working nicely now. I figured out how to use it. I'm basically getting to the heart of the wood here. Look how quick that piece came off. Oh my gosh, this is going so fast. But you can see the heart of the wood is actually really pretty too. Why aren't we using lilac wood to make wood? Decorative wood, because it's pretty. Look at the grain in that. All right, stop looking at how pretty the wood is and keep working. The zombies are coming. You'd think with two predators living in my backyard, granted they are in the catio, but there's still two predators living in my backyard, that the little critters wouldn't hang out here. But they do. Wow, that went so much faster. All right, so we need to thin that off still more. So we're going to go around again, and we're going to take it deeper. I'm trying to determine how much of a shaft I want on this. Well, let's try without doing a guide. Alright, so we have the piece sort of loose there, and then I'm going to hammer at the bottom. And then we'll go back here again, now that we've made a weak spot. There we go. So we can save time there, because we're going to go back in and whittle this rough stuff. Now this is very green wood. I only cut it like 2 weeks ago, I think. And without taking the bark off, it's going to stay green for a long time anyways. Okay, so that's actually splitting down into here. So I'm going to stop. Come back here. Ow! I think I took way too much on that one. All right, why don't we try splitting it this way then and take off a smaller chunk. Ow! That's the first time I actually hit my hand. I'm so impressed. My poor brother's going to come back from the coast and go, "What happened to my chisel?" Shh, don't tell him. Oh wait, he watches these videos. Hi Ian, I'm sorry I wrecked your wood chisel. I'll get a hatchet, I promise. That piece was moving. It wants to come out of there. Let's see if we can pry it out. Okay, so apparently the heartwood is a lot tougher than the outer part because it is holding tight. There we go. We got one chunk out. There we go. Well, we are almost to the whittling stage. So we need to take a chunk here and a chunk here and we'll be good. So let's take smaller chunks that come off easier. Ow, I hit my hand again. I'm so coordinated, I'm telling you. This is why I need these life skills for the zombie apocalypse. Otherwise, everybody's just going to go, "You're a joke," and leave me behind. I need some life skills that are useful to people. Because fighting zombies is not one of my life skills. I think I owe my brother a new wood chisel. If you're a woodworker, I apologize. Oh, there's the neighbor's dog going again. Now, I would be doing this in the catio with the cats, but apparently some lilacs are poisonous to cats. So I'm not taking the chance. I'm doing it out here so all these splinters don't get accidentally ingested by my kitty cats. We're going to grab our Leatherman tool and use our pliers to break these bits off. Because I have little girl hands. They're delicate and dainty. And I don't like splinters. Let's have a look here. So we're going to need a knob at the end of our... Oof, that's heavy. If I want to reduce the weight, I can just take this down to a thinner piece. But for now, I'm just working with this. So, I'm so gonna owe Ian a chisel. So we want our knob up here. So I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to score around where I want the knob to go. All right. Now I'm just wiggling this gently because I don't want to jam it into my hand. That would be bad. Just going from that score down. Definitely not a woodworker, so that's not one of my post-apocalyptic life skills. This is turning into quite the project. Now I do have this rough part on my blade that I'm using like a little bit of a saw just to get some of this stuff off. Don't know if that's what it's intended for, but that's what I'm using it for. Alright, so we're starting to get some shape at least. Now the other thing about the Scottish spindle is we need to make grooves in the bottom like this, so that the fleece goes through there, comes up, wraps around here. So before I thin this out anymore and make it weaker, I think we might just screw that into the ground to protect that shaft. I probably should have done the bottom first, but you know, I like doing things ass backwards. So there's our markings. Now we want to take them out to here. Ow! Dad, I gotta quit doing that. This is also why I don't hammer hard. I tend to miss and hit myself, and the less hard I'm hammering, the less it hurts. All right. Now I'm going to make like V-shaped grooves and then widen these little paths out a little bit. Probably going to take a while. And I think you're getting the idea of what I'm doing, so you don't need to listen to me curse and swear. All right, so I worked until my hands ached, but I do have a rough Scottish spindle. This should be probably moved down or tapered more, but overall, I think it turned out okay, considering I'm not a woodworker and I was just kind of faking it. But now we're going to see if it actually spins. So rather than spinning some fleece, I just grabbed some yarn just for the test run. So you're supposed to just make your leader, then wrap it around a few times. Then bring it up to the top, hold it there, bring it under the bottom through those grooves, then up to the very tippy top. My hands are so sore, guys. I would recommend not spending hours plucking away, and then hook that under the little knobby at the top. Well, let's see what happens. And then you just flick. And flick. It's a wobbly spin, but it's spinning. It's lighter than the rock. All right, so then when you have some yarn spun, you flip off your half hitch. I really need to sand it because it's very rough. You pull it up from the bottom, and then you wrap it like you would a Nosta pin, and it'll make a center pull ball. But that would probably be with one that has a body that's less robust than mine. Keep it with your thumb up here, go down and back up, and half hitch and pull that snug so it doesn't unwind. Yeah, very, very off balance. I should trim that up a bit to balance it better, but that's like fine work. Now the nice thing about this is not going to break easily. It's not a delicate spindle by any means. It's heavy enough you could use it as a hammer or as a weapon of some kind. But you can see we're getting our twist. So when you have it prepped, do your butterfly, unhook your half hitch, bring it up from the bottom, and then do a Nostopin wrap. Then around the bottom, up to the top, half hitch, and spin again. So technically, it's a working spindle. Now, could it be tweaked? Absolutely. Could be worked by the fire at nights or during downtimes during the day. But you can see it's a working spindle. Now, granted, this is a lot of work to make a working spindle, but this one you could then carry with you. Small enough to not take up much room. Now, originally it was used so it could just be tucked into your plaid with your fiber, and you could do it while tending your sheep. Go down around the bottom, bring it up, half hitch, and away you go. So, I'll probably continue to work on this, see about smoothing it out, make my grooves a little better maybe bring this down a bit. But for the moment, I made a spindle. I'm pretty excited. And I'm going to do some more experiments with spindles and see how building them. See how hard it is to build them. Here's Bobbo for his kitty cameo. He's like, let me go. Let me go. He only likes to be held like this. And even that, he doesn't like it very much. I love you, baby. He's like, I don't like you right now. Anyways, that is our Zombie Apocalypse Chronicles experiment for today. If you like this, do the stuff down below, because I do stuff like, well, maybe not quite like this, but I do fibery stuff all the time. And you never know when these skills might come in handy. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you on the next one.